This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, if you could please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review, it will enable other excellent people like yourself to be able to locate this podcast. On today's episode, I want to talk about productivity for a little bit. And that is, does it really matter? Why should we spend enormous amount of energy and time on being productive? Now, right from the beginning, let's make sure that we differentiate between being a productive person and being a busy person. Rarely do I ever meet anyone who doesn't testify to the fact that they are very, very busy. It's almost a rite of passage. It's almost the expected answer when you ask someone how they're doing. I'm exhausted, I'm busy, I'm going to and fro. And somehow that busyness gives us a sense of worth and accomplishment. But you can be busy doing wrong things. You can be busy doing things that really make little to no difference. I'd even go so far as to say you can be busy at doing counterproductive things. So you have to do an evaluation, an inventory, an audit, if you will, of your day, your week, your months. Are the things you're doing really helping you to be productive? Well, I want to start out by talking about some ideas of why it's important to be productive. What are some things that will hinder you from being as productive as you could be? And then back to some ways to be a little more productive. I believe that being productive really gives your life a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose. If you don't just get up and wander off, or as someone said about someone, a person who got on their horse every day and rode off into 100 different directions. Being productive, making sure that you're going to get the right things done in the right way and on the right time, gives your life a purpose. Just so that you know that there is a reason that you're existing, and there really is. And part of that is being productive. It just gives life some meaning, shape, and texture. Being productive also keeps your mind active. To just wander around, I am concerned about people. I know friends who retired and their health and mind almost went down immediately. Now, I know it's not always a direct correlation because life doesn't work like that. But having a purpose, being productive, making a contribution. Now, I'm not saying you don't earn rest. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But even in retirement years, you can still be productive. You may not keep the hectic schedule that you keep now, but you still need to keep your mind active by reading and having social networks and being involved in volunteer organizations, not-for-profits, your church, wherever. But being productive does keep your mind fresh, alive, and active. I think being productive increases the quality not only of your work, but your life, of your relationships. When you know that you've gotten things done that you attempted to do and that you needed to do, it really helps you. One other way that I think productivity helps is that when you're getting things done and you're being exceedingly productive in your life, it really serves as an inspiration to others that I ought to be able to get some things done. You get to be kind of a motivator, if you will, for other people. What I have noticed when I have made a purpose to be more productive in my life is that I'm able to actually accomplish more in less time. Now, that's not the immediate result. Immediately, you are breaking old habits, creating new ones, taking positive actions, and there'll be a while when it seems hard, difficult, complicated. Is this really making any difference? But if you stick with it and keep doing the right thing and keep doing the productive things, you will one day, a light bulb will go on and you will discover that you're able to do much more than you used to do. And rather than it expanding in time as you get more done, you're actually doing more in less time. You will become a better manager of time. You understand there really is no such thing as time management. It is, in essence, self-management. Now, I refer to it as time management, but time is ticking every second, every minute continues. There's no way you and I can stop the hands of the clock from moving. But the fact that we're making judicious use of our time, we have planned out what we're going to do, and we are being very intentional, will make you a better /time/self management. I just believe when you're productive and you know where your day's going, doesn't mean there won't be a crisis or something come up that you could not foresee. That happens to every one of us. But when you begin to develop your productivity examples and muscles, you'll find that you have an easier time. It just becomes automatic. There are some productivity habits that I have installed into my life over the years that are just as natural for me as brushing my teeth. It'll help you to relax. When you know you've worked hard, you can play hard. You can rest. You won't have to worry about all of the things that you haven't accomplished. Well, before we take even a little more deep dive into all of this, what are some of the things that keep people from being as productive as they could be? I think it's distractions. We live in a very distraction-filled world. Because it's thought in some of our work environments that an open door is a great idea, we are continually interrupted. Now, there are certain times in the day when that is appropriate, but if you're working on a deadline and you're working to accomplish something, it's okay to close your door. I think the largest category of distractions in the day and age we live is technology. We get beeps and zings and dongs and all sorts of ringing noises from all of the notifications, both of our phones, text, the social media places, and these technology, we almost are addicted, if not in fact addicted to them, that it breaks our chain of thought. When I'm in my office, either at work or at home, I put my cell phone, just like right now, my cell phone is in a drawer. The notifications are turned off on my laptop. I'm focusing on the matter at hand. And the matter of fact is that there are technology distractions, and you're going to have to just turn your phone to airplane mode. You're going to have to turn some other things off. You may even need to put in other kinds of safeguards. For if you don't do it, you keep breaking your concentration, you keep getting interrupted, it will make you to be very unproductive. So limit those distractions. It's important. I'm not speaking against social media. I happen to like it and use it, and it helps me to keep in touch with people I've known literally around the world. So I'm not saying all of that. I'm just saying find some apps as well that may help you. Things like Off Time and Moment that will measure. You'll be surprised. When I began to measure my social media, how often I'm on it, it became such a shock to me that I began to start limiting it. So make sure that you're working on the distractions in life. One of the things that I have discovered that helps me is I tackle whatever the harder issue, project, action is that day. If there's a phone call I'm dreading, a meeting I'm not looking forward, something where I really have to attend to it, I put it as close to the front of my schedule as possible, and I have discovered once I work my way through that, once I handle that and get it off my plate, it just seems to make everything else a little more enjoyable, gives a spring in my step, as it were, and I'm really able to accomplish all of the other things with a little more ease. My comfort level goes off. on, and I'm just sort of really comfortable with the way things are going. So learn to handle the tough things first. Another one that I know people will roll their eyes about, but it's been a lifesaver for me, and that is you really ought to consider becoming an early riser. One of the ways that I'm able to get a jump start, now I realize that I'm in a station in a place in my life right now where many of you aren't. I have no small children at home. And I get up early and I have my morning routine. It's as set can be. And it began the night before as I prepare for the next day, the night before, by getting everything ready for the meetings. You know, I'm one of those who even lays out my clothes. And people laugh and say, why do you do that? Many of you listening to this are suffering from decision fatigue. There are people who take an inordinate amount of time standing in their closet trying to figure out what they're going to put on. Make the decision the night before, and when you get up, and of course, in the part of the world where I live, it's getting dark right now very early in the morning. And therefore, I get up, I know what to do. I have my morning routines down. I even begin to work on my most important task, and I knock it off before I even really officially get into one of the offices that I work out of. It just helps you to get up and get to work. Now, I know some of you are night owls and you love that and you feel you're really productive, but it's hard for me to believe at the end of the day that when you need to call someone, everyone else is in bed. And I think many people, I'm not trying to be critical, but many people who stay up late are imbibing in social media or watching television or movies or playing video games. They're not actually doing things that's moving their life and their schedule and their business nor their family forward. Now, with all that being said, one of the ways that will help you to be more productive is take a break and relax. Regardless of how good your focus is, regardless of how great apps you're using, regardless of what your system is and how it's leading you, no one can concentrate and focus and work hour upon hour. You need a break. Depending on the projects, I don't go much more than 40 minutes of concentrated effort without a break. I use a Pomodoro timer. It's just a simple thing. A lot of times it's a kitchen timer when I'm at home. I have also a timing app, time focus time on my phone and on my laptop and on my desktop. So I'm timing myself, and then I give myself a 5-minute break where I can relax, use the restroom, get a cup of coffee, walk around, return calls and emails. As much as I've just talked about getting up and pushing, you have to take a break. You have to relax. That also makes you more productive. When you've gotten the things done that you know you needed to get done, and you focus. Here's my idea. If I get the things done that I need to get done, then there'll be time to listen to ball games, go for walks, read a book for pleasure, take a nap, whatever it is that you like to do. And then the other and final thing that I want to say in this area of productivity is you need to be a continual learner. When I really began doing this many years ago, to be productive, I increased my productivity back then, but along the way I've discovered new tools. I've heard new voices who've come alongside and given me some thoughts. I'm at a different place in my life, and I gather that. And I get it that you aren't necessarily in the same place I am where you can do it. And I realize I probably by nature am more of an early riser than a person who stays up late. That was true of me even when I was in college. But once you get past all of that, you ought to listen and read and digest all that people are saying. And if there's some changes that need to be made in your life that would help you to be more productive, to get more done in less time, to get more done in a way that you won't be as stressed out. And I see people running around all the time. They're busy. Their schedules are full. When they come to meet you for an appointment, they're out of breath. It's not that they're not trying hard, and I would never in a million years even describe them as being lazy. But we can be busy doing the wrong things in the wrong way. It's not just enough to be busy. You ought to conduct an audit of your week's schedule this week, not next week, this week, and really asking yourself, am I as productive as I possibly could be? Are there one or two tweaks that I can make to my schedule or the way I operate, that those things alone would increase my productivity and make me much more effective and efficient? Why don't you give that a try? Because productivity really does matter for our lives. You have been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this was like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, TuneIn, anywhere where you can listen to podcasts, you can find Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. And I want to remind you, my leadership friend, wherever you are and whoever you are today, you are doing better than you think you are. You really, truly are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.